Supporting children's mental health through familial online relationships explores children's experiences of their parents' use of social media.
When we think about social media, we often think about how young people use it and what they post. There has been a lot of worry and concern about how young people use the internet, about screen time, and the risks and dangers in what they post about themselves. But young people are not the only ones that post about their lives on social media. Adults, and especially parents, post about young people too. But how do young people feel about this?
We know that everyday family relationships and interactions are important for children and young people and for supporting their development and mental health. Since lots of family interactions are now happening on social media, we designed a study about how young people make sense of their parents' and caregivers' posting.
As this was during the COVID-19 lockdowns, we conducted the interviews online. We interviewed 5 families with children, and the children were between 13 and 17 years old. In total, we conducted 21 interviews.
We spoke with them together about their experiences of family posts. We then talked with each member of the family about their own postings to see if they had anything else to share about any of the points from the family interviews.
We asked all of our participants to bring along posts that told us a bit about their families. So what did they talk about? Some of the main issues that seemed to come up in our discussions were about the platform being used, the age of the posts, how sensitive the parents were to the children's concerns, and the child-parent relationship.
Interestingly, embarrassing photos of them as a child were fine with the young people, even when their relationship with their parents was a bit tricky. However, they were much less comfortable with recent photos. This changeover usually happened when the young people went through a transitional moment, for example, when they started secondary school or turned 13.
What platforms parents used also made a difference. Posts on Facebook and WhatsApp were more acceptable. Facebook because, as the young people said, it's for old people, and WhatsApp because it's more private and usually only seen by family and adult friends. Parental posts on Instagram, however, were not okay, as young people worried it would be embarrassing if their friends or classmates saw them. There was general agreement that parents should not be on Snapchat.
At some point, as they get older, young people become concerned about their privacy and having a say as to what their parents might post about them. In families where there was a high level of trust, this permission was assumed as young people were confident that their parents would post appropriately. They knew that their parents would ask permission to post if they weren't sure, or they could talk to them about taking posts down if they felt uncomfortable. In families where there was a lack of trust, however, parents took photos of their children and posted them without permission, even when the young person had explicitly said they did not want them to. Young people were upset and annoyed when this happened to them. All of the young people were annoyed when this happened to their friends.
Our overall findings suggest that there is a point at which social media becomes a space that isn't just for adults, but also for young people. How they feel about this has a lot to do with how they relate to and are positioned within the family. So while there has been a lot of talk about how young people use social media, it's really important that we pay attention to how the adults around them engage with and support them online. Our research indicated that this support relied on trusting familiar relationships that acknowledged young people's space and expanding autonomy.
Supporting children's mental health through familial online relationships is a joint project between the Open University, Keele University, the University of Northampton, the University of Bedfordshire, and ParentZone. It is funded by the eNuture Network, a UKRI-funded network that fostered new collaborations to promote children and young people's mental health in a digital world.